Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. Tonight we're returning, of course, to Factorio Mosaic Megabase, where we have, for the most part, achieved 1K SPM. For the most part there are a couple of glitches that I would like to try to iron out tonight, but this is going to be, I think, the last stream of this series. We've gotten... Because I didn't want to exceed, or I didn't want to overbuild, it would be easy to overbuild, I should say. And overbuilding means that it would be easy to hit one, or go over 1K SPM, but I would rather have this be is built as close as possible to exact and effectively, or basically achieve the 1K SPM rather than overbuilding just to fudge it. I don't know. It's kind of a 6 1 half dozen of the other kind of thing, but that's kind of the way that I think I want it to go. Hey Phasian, welcome to the stream. So I'm going to show a couple things that I found as I was staring at this, I think sometime on Sunday, and then kind of go from there, see what else we can figure out. So the first thing I found was that these inserters were struggling to get enough green circuits on the solar panels, and this is of course not really affecting the productivity of the game because the solar panels were way beating out the accumulators at the time. But I think it's because they need 25 per second. The red belt that they were on, if you recall, can only carry 30. And I think this one was stealing enough that it was starving out this one from being able to grab as much as it could, I think. So I switched the belts, so now the blue belt is the green circuit belt, and the red belt is the the steel and copper belt, which only need 8 1/3 apiece. So I think that's a better plan there. And then I also shifted this so that it was on the belts themselves and the hood wasn't there in the way. Because it looked like it was actually having trouble grabbing from under the hood, which could be the problem elsewhere in the base, I suppose, if the stack inserters have trouble grabbing from the hooded piece. I thought that that was a problem like in 0.16, and that they 16 or 17, 16 at the beginning, and that they fixed that. But it seemed to have also still been the case. But anyway, that was one thing I fixed. I also added a block for this inserter here, or this splitter here. Just used the deconstruction planner, which puts the nice big red square on it. Not that it matters a whole lot, but there were 4 batteries stuck on this side of the splitter, and those 4 batteries were the difference between this train leaving and not leaving until the next train of batteries came in. So I went ahead and put that there, and that made that bit of a difference at the time I was staring at it. Whether it makes a difference now or not, I don't know. So I also paused for a while I was tearing apart the solar panels. The solar panels, so that way there aren't quite as many solar panels stored up here as there were before. We had like basically a whole 2,000 of them ready to go before the train even left with the 2,000 accumulators. And the last thing that I did after the stream was this. Remember I was grumbling about how it seemed like we were missing 4 science? They were right there also. So I put the same deconstruction planner here, sent those 4 science into the train left, and all was well in the world, kind of. So there are... I also stamped down a bunch more of the blueprint to wire the boxes to the power poles. So there are still 10,000 space science here in the boxes. On top of that, the accumulators are 2/3 of the way done, more than 2/3 of the way done, and there are batteries to spare in here. So it's quite possible that we won't have a dip in the production after this. There have been some dips in the last hour. This was when I was monkeying with things last and found those few batteries, I think, and this one was when I found the 4 the space science. So maybe, just maybe, by the end of the stream, it will have kind of become a little bit more steady. Now, it shouldn't run at 1.1K. That's not where it should be running at. It should average at 1K, which is going to be, down here a bit. So I'm expecting a dip every so often for certain sciences. Specifically, let's go to 10 minutes so the numbers are a little easier to read. Specifically, anything but yellow science, because these are all producing right at 10K. Ooh, a little under. Right at 1K per minute. Why is purple science not working right? Go look. I bet you it's Rails again. Like, just not being able to pick up enough. I'm wondering if I should have this set up here and be merging them in as long as possible. Let's go over there. This looks like it's running okay for now. Let's go over to Purple Science and tweak that and see if that makes any difference on the way Purple Science is producing. Because it's kind of all over the board here. I mean, we are... Yeah. Whatever it's doing when it dips down every... Gosh, that's pretty regular. Every 2.5 minutes or 2.25 minutes or something. Or it could be that the rails are running out. Yeah, I still think there's issues with the rails here. Because they are flashing item ingredient shortage. We are, or we should be able to produce, or we're attempting to produce 25% more than we actually need. But I don't know if it's actually a problem or not. I go there, and then this, and that. I don't know if that makes a difference or not. I suppose it's one of those things it's like it can't hurt to do. But if the rails are going to keep starving out... Yeah, see, we're only producing just shy of 1,000 for the last 10 minutes, and that's because of these dips. So I want to try and work out what these dips are and balance that out some. Which, if they are that regular, 9, 6.5, that's 2.5 minutes. About 4, that's 2.5 minutes. And about 1.5. Yep. So we should be hitting it very soon. If it is what happens, if whatever it is happens again. Well, all the rails just starved out. Yep. That's what it is. It's the rails starving out. Excuse me. And then it should peak back up again once all the rails get saturated. Yep. Okay. So we need to figure out what's up with rails. That's, I think, our last true bottleneck. And I knew rails were going to be an issue because of the lack of productivity ironically, in production science, as well as the, here comes the accumulators and, what are they called? Solar panels, anyway. And we still have 4,000 science left. So between now and when that 4,000 runs out, we need to launch 16 rockets to fill up this train. Which hopefully shouldn't be a problem, because these trains are all sitting here waiting. So as long as this thing makes 16 satellites reasonably fast, which it has the capability of making like 10 or 12, if we had faster insertion on things like, well, everything, I guess. But we should be able to make 4 or 5 a minute at least. Or second. No, not that many. I think probably just 1 or so a second at most. Yeah, it's not even that long. But as long as they go, they go. The other option is, of course, to make this train smaller, capacity-wise. But I don't see really the point in that either. Only think the satellites use 100 each, right? We brought over 2,000 at a time, so that's 20 rockets at a time. 20 rockets per load. So we will get 16 rockets out of this load at least, as long as they go fast enough. We have 3, I can see the tips. We have 3 satellites in storage right now. The next one will be going here, there it is right there in the 4th. So that's all you can see is 2 on each side, because you can see the tip of the second one poking through there. But hey, it works. Oh, good point. Looks like we're producing on average 1 per minute. That means obviously 10 satellites in 10 minutes. And we're consuming it on average 4. We're producing slightly more than we're consuming, apparently. And hey, Larry, by the way, welcome. Which is good, although we're consuming more space science than we're producing, which is weird. Okay, where are we at? Oh, no, that's not it. Where are we at here? Not there yet. How are you doing down here? Running low. Running low. Go, go, go. So one idea would be, since this train carries 20 rocket launches, 20 satellites worth of solar panels and accumulators, would be to scale this as a factor of 20. So like 10K or 20K as opposed to being 16K. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I know that could be an easy skew. It just matters in the interval we're looking at. But you hope that over the longer periods it looks the same. Or it evens out to being the same. You'd hope. But I guess it depends on when the burst periods are here. So this is going to run out. It did. I mean, it hasn't consumed it all yet here. But it's going to very, very soon. Whatever. I mean, it's basically what's in the loops just about now. So now it's just a matter of getting those last 8 rockets, or those next 8 rockets to launch. I'm happy that these 3 are running very well, though. I mean, we have 2 trains of each of these, so that makes sense that they're coming in a little faster, or more frequently. We only have 1 train bringing the rocket control units in, but since they're right here, I figured 1 was enough, and there's not enough in here to fill up a whole train anyway, I don't think. Well, it might be. But either way. At one point when we were watching this, it was waiting there to fill up, so I think it's just a matter of that. Okay, that'll be 10, 11. Here comes 12K. Getting ready to launch. And we probably have started shutting down. Yep, we have started shutting down. But, oops, that's not what I wanted. I wanted this. Science. So here's our dip, but I'm expecting the dip here. I mean, in the last 10 minutes, we're still at 1K in 10 minutes. Because it's running at 1.1K, but we're only producing 1K worth. So I'm expecting a dip to bring us down, to keep us down at 1K. Yeah, I thought about that, but I can't get it exact. Well, I guess I could if I fiddle with the speed modules. Yeah, I really need to work on production science. Yeah, it's plummeting below. So there's still too much of a gap in the whole rocket accumulator battery sulfuric acid thing. How close are we here? 12K, yeah. So we're a little short on that, but let me look at maybe finding a way. Yeah, exactly. Maybe finding a way to make the rails better. Let's go up here. I actually have an idea of what I could possibly do. If I bring... Can I put those there? That has to be 2 away in order to make it fit. I was thinking about putting the sticks there and the rails there and there. The problem is, I guess I could put a box. I can't put a box there. I'd have to go one more. I could go one further. I could go there. Do I need that one? No, I don't. Okay. I could put a box here in the middle. Even if I limited it to like a couple stacks just to serve as a buffer. Could do that and that. I'm also too close to the beacons here. Just for fun. Let's see. 1, 2. And then that takes care of needing this extra belt for the sticks. But I need a belt to bring in the iron. I need a belt for stone, a belt for steel. $20, $20, and 8, we'll say, to make 40, because if I'm splitting this in 3s. 20, 20, and 8 to make 40. So that means I really want to bring in... Well, technically, if it's 20 each, then technically the stone and Steel could share a belt. Because I need 22.5 of each. If they shared a belt, even if I put 2 inserters like this, I could bring iron in like this. That might be problematic. No, it's not actually not running that often, so that should be fine. I could bring iron in like this. And then I could bring rails out like this. I could still put these on the inside like that. And I could even go 3s here. Oopsie. I don't know, what do you guys think about that one? Is that even more insane? Power. Power. Like that. Think we should try it? The problem is that changes how this sort of bus system works. And I need to combine the steel and the stone when I bring it into each line. Why are you not? Oh, it's because it's not supposed to go in there. It's supposed to go in there. I think we should try it. So I need to cut off the steel and the stone. Probably here and here. And the iron as well. Then I'll rip this all up. Pull this into here. Okay. Iron can go like this in a straight line, please. This can go here. The steel like this. How horrible is that? That's actually not too shabby. It might even be better. Now my stuff is full. I'll fix it, don't worry. There. What do I have so much of that I don't want? Okay, so these need to move now. A bit. That goes there. You now split there. I'm trying to not kill that top one as much as possible. Okay, that doesn't look too shabby either. Okay, so this one needs to be here. This going underground there. That doesn't need to be there anymore. This one needs to be here, which it can't be. Wait, what's different? Why doesn't that reach like the other one does? Oh, duh. Okay, so now this goes like this. Oh, I cut the steel off. How did I do that? Oh, that's how I did it. That. Iron goes there. Rails come out like that. Thank you. Okay. Anything I got too much of? Those for some reason. Yeah, those are much fuller belts. Why are you showing an alarm? You're acting as if you're not getting enough iron. Oh, probably because you're not. Because it's all pulling from the same side. What if I did that instead? Sorry, that instead. Still gonna pull from the same side. Do that to be lazy. That's probably better overall than even this. Okay, let's look at Rails production now. We might be producing more on average. A little bit more. This is probably about when we started. I wish I would have taken note of how long ago it was. But this seems like where we were at before. So if we stay up here, we're producing a little bit more. We need to produce 71.45 per minute. We are more than producing that now. And we have been since here, which is probably one of the points in time that I was jacking with everything. So that's promising. It's also consistent, which I can't say that it was before. So that's good as well. Now we just need to figure out why the consumption's all wonky. Probably because of the trains. It's possible the trains can't load fast enough as well. I mean, like, yeah, the output belts are almost completely full now. And it does say ingredient shortage still, briefly, though. Still starving out of either steel or stone, depending on which one hits bottom first, because of them. I'm doing them on the same. You know what? Hell. Does that make a difference? Will you be happier if you have 3 inserters? We'll just go with it. At this point. That's just more chance, of course. But that's just more chance for everything to make it into the machine. Yeah, that's what I figured. Give it time for the trains to get to cycle once. And also to kind of build up a little bit of that surplus into production science. It's funny, you see these bigger gaps come in here. See when we see another one. And when it gets through the inserter, it gets spread out amongst the 4 belts, and you don't see it as much, like right here. Chomp, 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 and you don't even notice it then. Because of the evening of the gaps between the items on the belt here. Kind of funny. Things I notice, I guess. Still hitting bottom sometimes. But it's going to, because these 2 machines can pull a lot more than 22.5. You know, 4.8 machines are pulling basically 60. Then 6 machines are pulling 75. So there should be some starvation here, a little bit. But it's fine, because we're producing. Our capacity is 125% here. Oh yeah, yeah. This is all crazy, and they're so evenly patterned that you can't even tell. Yeah. Funny. Right. Yeah, I agree. It's yeah. It's 120 is what I'm targeting, and I'm producing way more than that. I'm producing almost 3 full belts. So, I mean, we're producing probably, what, 2.9 belts, you think? Something like that? So, oh yeah, in the stream, I can imagine it's even worse. For me, locally here, it's not bad, but yeah, I can imagine that it's rough to see which direction some of them are going in. Like these 2 here. They kind of get that, what's that pattern called, where this stuff is going so fast it looks like it's reversing? It kind of looks like that, like here. Even to me. Running on the console. Alright. I'm wondering if... Well, let's see now what production science is doing. So it's still unloading. Okay, there we go. So it's a little bit more consistent production in the last little bit here. Oh, we might have another dip coming in consumption. Might be running out of space science again. But has it been that long since we last had the dip in space science? That's pretty good if it is. Although not perfect because of that, but we're consistently at 1K, 1.0K per minute for production science. And we've been maintaining higher than that now, 1.1 for the last 5, almost 6 minutes. So, yeah. And yeah, it's plummeting. Oops. Where are you at? Yeah, we must be running out again. We are. Now, I don't know if it's because I'm doing the 16K here instead of the 10, which is more aligned to this, or not. I don't know if I'd made these 10K, if I made this 10K, if it would be more, more balanced. But yeah, I definitely could get away with just 2 rail trains. It's not loading fast enough to make a difference. I just wasn't sure with if the distance was going to make up that much of a difference or not, and it obviously isn't, but it's fine because that's just 2 trains parked in parking spots. It doesn't have anything to do with the overall productivity of the base. And there's not a throughput issue yet, so it's fine. Yeah, that's insane. Look how fast they're consuming because they're like sometimes not even able to keep up with the insertion. That is so much better. And I probably didn't need to stack these even to 2 stacks because 1 stack would have been enough because it's 100. So that's more than 8 inserters worth of loads. Alright, so now we just need to figure out what the heck's going on with this chain. Or if it's just a matter of it kind of catching up slowly. I keep going back and checking the math on the batteries, and it makes sense. Oops, that's not batteries. Oops, not batteries. There they are. It makes sense. 14.01 is 8.34 for accumulators, plus 5.68 for robot frames. So I don't really know what the deal is here, why this doesn't seem to be producing enough. Plenty of sulfuric acid. Or is there? How close are you to being full? It's only half full. I mean, this isn't showing any sign of starvation. Definitely never getting backed up. These ones are getting, or this one's getting a bit of production overload. Which makes some sense. But we don't need that many. We only need 2.4, and I have 3. So this one should be idle half the time. I mean, that makes at least some logical sense. Oops. Let's see, 27.5 minus 5.95. 21.55. Right, that makes sense. 21.55 is... how many machines? 2.4 divided by 1.276. 1.88 machines. So the way that I have this laid out, where these two inserters are grabbing what they can from these two as they need it, should be fine, because this machine's never stopping. But the problem here, I think it's already come, it must have already come and went, I hope. Yeah, it did. Okay, good. But see, now this is filling up for robot frames, and the one for accumulators is sitting there waiting. It just keeps feeling like, to me, like we don't have enough batteries. Ow, I just punched my microphone. Sorry. I mean, they still have 7,000. What does the train carry? 16. So in the time that the accumulator battery train left, and the robot frame train pulled in and loaded, this is used just over half, well, quite a bit more than half, of the batteries that the other train dropped off. So that means that it's going to starve out before the train gets back here. And I mean, on average, the train for accumulators is going to come in more often than the train for robot frames, because accumulators need 8.34 and robot frames only need 5.68. So you're talking 1.5 times more often-ish. Yeah, there's our sulfuric acid train again. That's kind of running thinly. Like, that's running on the margin a bit here, which is good, which is the intent of this base, was to run on the margins. Yeah, that sat idle for too long. How is this doing? I think I'm going to drive up there. I think trains look good now, or rails look good now. They're able to come in reasonably often and load up. Drive up here. And I think I will, when that stops, When it stops using what satellites it has available, I think I will send the train and then switch the train to be a 10K train. Not that I think that that's going to make a huge difference, but it's at least more accurate to what's going on here. You're empty. You're empty. So this should be the last unload here. And this has 8K in it. Oh, I can't make it 10K. Well, yes, I can. I can make it uneven. That doesn't work. The only thing to do would be make it 20K, and I'm not going to do that. Because these are 2,000. Forgot about that. I'm not going to make it uneven, because then it won't load evenly. Or, yeah. It still won't take off, so I have to leave it the way that it is. Making it 12, I don't think will make it any better. And it might make it worse. How close are you? Okay, so it's, again, about 2/3. $4.8K divided by 5 is just under 1,000. So we do have enough for this train to leave. The problem is, do we have enough here to sustain us? Maybe. I don't see anything that's wrong. We should be overproducing. Unless it's just the time offset. I mean, the only other thing I could do with the space science train is actually make it 2,000. Or 4,000. No, that would be 8,000 per train. I'd have to make it 2,000 per wagon. 1 stack per wagon. Which is horribly inefficient. But at least that would level off the production of those. Or the delivery of those. But I don't see the point. Except, of course, that it may not starve out if I did. And it otherwise is going to. just seems so slow. Like 2 per... or 1.67 per second just seems so slow. Unfortunately, we don't have 10 hours at this level yet. Yeah, now we're actually producing more production science than anything else. Why is yellow science end? Why is yellow science starving out? Is it a lack of something? No, not what I wanted. What am I hitting? Oh, that's what I'm hitting. No, it's utility science. So we're running out of something here, too. Not robot frames. The heck are they called? Processing units? No. What's the third thing? Oh, what are those things called? Low density structures. Yeah, those are kind of all over the place. What's going on with low density structures? I know what's going on with low density structures. I wanted to fix this too. These trains aren't balanced. So whenever the trains prefer one station over the other, they end up underproducing. Yep. Okay. So, oh, let's do this. 65K, 64K. Nice. Okay. Where are we at? Oh, the train just left. Good. How much? I'm going to go to one of the low density structure stations. In the meantime, in the travel time, I have just shy of 2K left. We should be starting to deploy rockets again. We need to get 8 of them launched before... And there goes the first satellite. Excellent. Can we get 8 of them launched before this runs out? I'm not thinking so. But before it runs out and it becomes a problem? Well, definitely not before it runs out, because we need to have 1,000 per minute, and 8 rocket launches was going to take at least probably a minute and a half each pair, so that's 6 minutes. Yeah, 5 minutes. So if that train had gone more frequently, if it was going every 4K or even 8K instead of every 16K, it would have been there by now. It would have had a few more to go. And we wouldn't have a dip here. Whether we'd have one later or not is a little bit harder to estimate. Okay, now it's time. It's going to be really close, though. Yeah, here it goes now. And this one here, that's unloading, finishing now, is going to be 14K, 15, and here's 16. Okay, it should take off about now. Yep. So if we could have saved 2 minutes, could have done it. It's pretty close. Disturbingly close. I think I might change that train to be an 8K train instead of a 16K train. Just so that it goes a little bit more often and has the chance of smoothing out that curve a little bit. Okay, let's fiddle with this though. Careful, because these are frequent trains. So we have something just like this at Blue Circuits. I don't know that it'll fit. Let's see what it looks like. If I can make it fit. I actually can. I just need to not have the belts in the blueprint. So let's take the belts out. There. That's pretty disturbing. I need to change items that it's checking for. Could be copper plates instead. Don't get run over. Oh, I also need to have a measurer on the power poles themselves. Or on the boxes and stuff. Where's blue circuits at? That'll be a good one to use. This here. There. There. Oh no, undo. And there. Okay, so we have... Yeah, see, number 3 is always lower. And that's not good. What I get for shift clicking. I do that too often. Burn myself with it. This one I should be able to just copy. Because it's the same belt configuration. Except I should have been over there to put the combinators down, but that'll be fine. But this is where I could hurt on the trains coming in. Especially, I only have 3 trains in this loop, so it should be okay, I guess. But this is where I could hurt as far as the trains coming in, and the way that I have this laid out with these combinators, it can only allow one in at a time, unless they're empty, I think. So there'll be trains waiting here. No, that's a different one. There could be copper trains waiting here to pull into a station because these two are too full relative to this one. Although that'll become less of an issue once they balance themselves out. Although... There it comes now. The trains aren't coming off that often anyway. Am I really starving out that copper production that severely? Apparently so. Oh, it's not loading evenly? Yeah, these aren't going to load evenly. Not super evenly, anyway. A better way to do this would be to tie all these stations together and force the train to go into the fullest open one. That way the other ones had a chance to fill up. Because, see, these are constantly filling. And once they have 8K, no matter how it's configured, they're going to let a train in. See, like, this one has 8K in it. But there's only, like, a couple hundred in some of these boxes. So that's going to slow down the train load time a bit. The same thing with this one. This box will probably go empty. These boxes down here in the end are going to go empty before the ones in the middle. And then this train will load slower because of that. How is copper distribution doing? Not good. Because I don't have controls on these either. You can pull in here. Yeah. I should have the same kind of... Didn't we do that on steel? Yeah, we did it on steel, so I'd have to do a 4 station 1 in order to do it for iron and copper. Iron seems fine, copper not as much. Okay, so we have had some balancing going on. So they're now all hovering around 25 to 27K, it looks like. If you watch, that middle one's going to go green here now because number 3 got to be fuller than number 2. So once that happens, then it can handle all 3 trains, as now they're at equilibrium. And I'm assuming this one got built. Yep, it did. And it looks to be balancing out as well. This one's not using as much. I think there's less draw to 11.91 versus 13.58. Yeah, so there's less draw, so that makes sense. That this one will be fuller. Eventually this one's going to back up. Probably. It might be worthwhile just to bring one more train into this one more copper train in, just to increase that throughput just a little bit more. I guess it depends on if these are incrementing or increasing or not. They seem like they might be, and if they are, then it won't matter. These boxes can hold 3,200 apiece, times 6 times 2, 18, 19, 2, just over 38K. So these ones are going to fill up very, very soon. These ones are not yet going to fill up. Oops. But they are getting closer. Yeah, they're increasing. So now that they're balanced, they're increasing better. Yeah, I know it. But the problem with those circuits are, they're bad for UPS. Yeah. So I'm wary of using one for that reason. Okay, let me go back to the rocket over here. And I'm going to change that train to be an 8K train instead of a 16K train. Just because of how bursty space science is in general. That'll hopefully smooth out the curve a little bit. How are you doing? Yeah, still not... Still doesn't look right. I don't know, maybe it's just a matter of time now? I mean, we should be using 100 per minute, but we're not producing enough. As I feared. We are hitting these timeouts. We're producing 840.4 and using 840.4. So we're producing and using enough batteries. I think it's just... The other thing is the battery train is 16K too. Yeah, that's true. You could do it like that. do with yeah, calculate. So yeah, you want each chest to have a minimum of 8K divided by 12. So that's what, 667 each? Check my math. And then open when each chest is 667. The problem is then you have to measure each chest individually, which means you have to run each chest through a combinator to either measure it or change or change its signal. Which seems like a colossal pain in the neck. Which that means you're going to have 12 combinators. One for each chest. Well, yeah, you have to have 12 combinators. I was going to say you could have 6 and use both colors of wire, but I don't think you could do that even. You might be able to do it lazy mode, though. And no, you can't do that either. Oh, you could. You could tie, like... I mean, this chest seems to be the one that has the most. Always. I think it's because of where it's grabbing off of the belt, the way the belt is curving at it and stuff. This one's struggling to grab any. Here. And then these two end up starved out. These two end up starved out. So this one ends up grabbing the most. So you almost could not measure this chest. Yeah, these copper loading stations here. You almost could skip this chest on both of the on these measurements, and then just do okay when there's enough. Whatever 5/6 of 8,000 is, whenever there's that much, then go for it. That would be the lazy method, but it might pull it off. I don't know. I don't think it's that big of a deal to worry about because, like I said, copper is accumulating. At least I think copper is still accumulating. Here. Oh yeah, we're up to 90K almost now. So it's definitely accumulating. So I don't think it's a problem. I think it was a problem because they weren't going to the lowest station by default first. And now that they are, it's just a matter of... Yeah, that's what I was worried about, is the clock-based one, where they only swing at the same time. Because that one uses a lot of UPS from what I've heard. And if I only use it in a few places, that would probably be fine. But yeah. Yeah, that was what I was hoping here, Malarian, is that this... Okay, now we need some in slot 2. We're waiting because slot 1 and 3 are getting filled up right now. But then slot 2 will get a train and it balances all back out again. Okay, so I changed that train to be an 8K train. So once the accumulators come back, which is going to be a little while, is that going to make a difference? Is it going to matter in the end? We have 10 minutes until we run out of space science. These are going to take 400 divided by 2 per second, 1.67 per second. Is 240 seconds, so 4 minutes. That's 4 minutes until this is full. And then it's got to get over here, and we need to launch 8 rockets. So that's 4 launch cycles, which are something just over a minute with my current load speed here. So we're looking at three more minutes. Wait. 6 more minutes. It's going to be cutting it super duper close. And I think the delivery of that train will be our official end of this series. Whenever that train gets delivered in the cycle will be how the series is finalized. Wow. Yeah, I definitely need to balance that. Okay, well, I'm going to go do that since we have time. Go out there and balance some combinators. Do I have enough combinators? Probably. Let's see if we can figure out this 4-station design quickly. Totals the chest, divides by the negative the total chests. That number is sent to each individual inserter, which is also connected to its chest, and the negative average is compared to the inserter's individual chest, and it only goes in greater than 0. That's the one that has to eat UPS for... Yeah. That's the one that I'm scared of. So I guess it's not a clock either. It's a measurement-based system, but it scares me. I almost got killed for the last 10 minutes of this base. That would have been fun. Okay, so let's grab, to start with, this combinator here. Change that to be... Wait, do I want that? Yeah, I do want this one to be number 1. It's the first one the trains can pull into. It's also the one on my left. So this needs to be copper. And then here and here. And here. This one is 3. This one is 4. This one is 2. Okay. Wire. Wire. I knew that was going to happen. Wire. Really? Wire. Power poles here. Whoa! Wire can't reach. Okay. That means this one needs to be moved 2 slots over. This one needs to be moved 1 slot over, I think. Can this one get moved over 1 more? No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so I have to do this. Okay. Red wire. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the middle. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the middle. Okay, that's right now. Okay, so we should have... Yeah, we have signals. Yeah, that would be fun, right? Okay. So then I need decider combinators. Each one's going to have 3. Unless there's some other way you guys can suggest on this one. If, in this case, if 3 is... No, I want arithmetic combinators, not deciders. Arithmetic combinators. Oh wait, I did the wrong ones. They are deciders. Yeah. If 3 is less than 1, and 3 less than 2, well, these should output a red square. And 3 is less than 4. Then close signal on less than 3 red squares. Right? Is that the same logic? No, I did it differently. Doggone it. No. This one. Where am I at? Here we are. If 1 is greater than 3 and 1 is greater than 2, I'll put the red squares. Okay, that's what I did. If 3 is greater than 1, and 3 is greater than 2, and 3 is greater than 4, I'll put all red squares. And then if... What was the signal condition? Ah. Close a red square greater than 0. Okay, so if any of them, if 3 is greater than any of them, close 3. So 3 is green now. Good. Good, good, good. Now I want to copy this whole thing here, which I don't have room for over there. So I have to figure that out in a bit. This isn't going to fit either. Doggone it. Do this. Do that. And this should just be 2. 2 against 3. And then 2 against 1. So this one is red, but I don't know if it's going to stay red or not. It should stay red. I'll have to check that out, Malarian. Thanks for sharing. Okay, beat it. Stays red. Good. That's promising. Actually, I can just paste it like this. I see you coming. And of course, you're going into station 1. But this is 1 versus 2. 1 versus 3, just for my own sanity. And then 1 versus 4. And a red wire from here to here. Means that this should be closed and should stay closed. Because we have 3 red signals there. Good. Went into 3 that time. That's what I like to see. And then this one... I don't have enough room. Look on it. I'll just put it down closer. I know, Wally's in the way. I'll reconnect that like that. Okay, so this is 4. 4. 4 to 3. So the next train that comes in should come into 4. And that should help copper a bit. Because we have so much in 1 and 2 I meant wrong power poles. We have so much in 1 and 2, especially 1, and so little in, well, none in 3 and 4 until now. So 3 should go green here just now. Yep. Alright, well, I can get out of here then, I think. My work here is done. Oh, and I messed you up. Sorry, train. Oh, that's alright. You wouldn't have gotten much out of that anyway. Let's come back here. The center of the base. It's interesting how there's many ways to solve these kinds of problems here. Did we already deliver a train, or is that the train I've been waiting for? Oh, where am I going? Right here. We must have already delivered an 8K train. So, science. We had a much shorter dip. Oh, we didn't have a dip this time. That was the dip before this dip. That was the dip that I sent the last train on at, I think. Half hour ago or so? I think so. So, this might have fixed it, just to smooth out that burstiness of the rockets. I don't know. I would expect a dip like this every so often because of the difference between the 1K production and the 1.1K consumption. Like, I would expect that it would spend 9% of the time not at maximum. Yeah, I think so, Malarian. I think this is going to be, I think this is the end. This is probably the longest in terms of end game I've ever played Factorio. And that's what that was my sort of one of my goals this time, was to get to this point, to get to officially a megabase. And here the train came back in already because it only needed to have 8K in it. That might have just done it. Just smoothing out that curve with the space science delivery based on the way that it's being produced. Hopefully that it was the actual problem. One may never know now, I suppose. But that is, I think, where we're going to end this. So let me find a raid target, unless there's someone watching who would like to receive a raid. Yeah, so this one's only going to have 4K in it, so we could run up against that if that satellite, or that, whatchamacallit, train doesn't get full fast enough here. But no one will ever know. Okay, so we're going to raid the Co-op Junkies again. They're playing Wilson. It seems to be their Tuesday game lately. So the plan for Thursday is to revisit one of the previous games that I've played. Either Flotsam or Wube Factorium. Both of them have had some updates since the last time I played, which was like back in the summer or early fall-ish. So I would like to play them both. If you guys have a preference on which one you would like to see come first, say so now, of course. Hit me up on Discord, or you can hit me up on YouTube in the comment section, or if you're watching on YouTube in the comment, you can for sure leave a comment in the comment section. And hopefully that... and in the meantime, I'll be planning my next Factorio series, which I think I'm going to bring Factorio back to Twitch. I think you guys coming here and chatting and yelling at me, making fun of me for doing stupid stuff is good. And it kind of is a good interaction, I think, for me for Twitch. That doesn't mean that it'll always be a Twitch game. It may be, I may do a YouTube series with it, but by the time I get my next Factorio series set up, I'll probably make it through whichever of those two games I choose, or whichever of those two games you guys prefer. And then we'll come back to Factorio unless something new comes out that I haven't noticed yet that I want to bring in. As always, though, feel free to suggest new games. I'm always interested in playing what you guys are interested in seeing. Probably nothing too combat related, given my ability with combat in Satisfactory, and of course in Factorio too. But I think, but I'm definitely open for suggestions. So of course, let me know. Yes, quiet and menacing voice. Yes, of course. So anyways, let's get the raid started. That's not the raid button. There's the raid button. And we can, and I'll be back on Thursday with either Flotsam or could be Factorium. So thank you guys for coming, and thank you for participating in this series and helping me debug these last couple of episodes. And have a great night, and I'll see you on Thursday. Bye for now.